Hello, gentle viewers. This is Indian welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 22, the tour through history with the Boston Braves. We've won the last two World Series in a row, and we're going to see if we can manage a three-peat. No, I've never actually managed that in OTP 21 or 22 at this point. The closest we came was right here, where we actually came, like, there was a small chance we could have won, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row. But I definitely think the more realistic chance was to get 5 in a row, which would be to win the 1903 and then the 1905 World Series. I don't think there was anything that would have helped us win the 1908 or 1902 World Series. I just don't think those were possible. So I've never three-peated. Let's see if we can manage it. So last season, Jim Bottomley was awesome, as per usual, and the rest of the team really performed well together to fill in the other gaps. And we did also without even Epirixie, who we'd come to rely upon as a good hand. Wait, I got you on waivers? That's pretty freaking hilarious. That gives him a chance for, like, the greatest ever waiver claim. But it might have actually been before I took over. It might have been. I'm not positive. But anyway. In all honesty, again, I keep saying this every season because it's always true. Pitching staff is really what we need to manage. And one possible solution to this problem might be Hub Pruitt, who, for whatever reason, the game insists on making a starter, even though I'm not convinced. But if the game feels that strongly about it, I'm willing to give him a shot in the majors. Maybe first as like a long reliever, and then see how he gets there. If we take a quick look at who did well last season, I know we did this at the end of last episode. This is just for my memory. We need a solution to the shortstop problem. That's for darn sure. Yeah, Doc Levon was pretty trash. And is not a solution to the problem. Even Hod Ford, despite his excellent fielding, is maybe not the best choice. Archdeacon did what he needed to do. If he wasn't quite as good as he was last season, I'm fine with that. He did what he needed to do. I'm very pleased with his performance. I'm pleased with everyone's performance. But the most important numbers right now are ages. And Jim Bottomley is nice and young, as is Goslin, as our trainer and Archdeacon. Severide will eventually hit a wall. It happens to every catcher. It's going to happen. That it hasn't happened yet is something that fills me with joy. But it's unrealistic to expect him to keep producing at such a high level every season. And one of the downsides of us being so successful for so long is that we don't really have any Major League ready players. Now, our first decisions are going to basically be seeing how these all get sorted. I don't care if I don't have a double A. You know what? Can I promote both of you to double A? And then I can just get worse coaches elsewhere. Perfect. Yeah, so pitching coach, I need to teach pitching. I'm probably asking for too much here. And I'm betting a lot of people are just going to tell me to get fucked, but we'll see what happens. And Joe Burke. All right, so we've made some coaching offers. Right now, I don't know how good my players actually are, not until we've fully unlocked that. So we're just going to go ahead and advance time a bit. Fine. Okay, lots of people are reacting positively. Excellent. So most of our coaching staff is full. We're just waiting for a few more people to make some decisions here. All right, we got our scouting director. And again, he highly favors ability. But this is exactly the kind of scouting director that we do need. I need to know what my players can do now. I'm not as concerned with what they can do in 5 years. I think this is the perfect guy for us in this time frame. And I'm immediately, because I do eventually learn, please stop. And then I think the budget is excellent, except it could be even larger. Perfect. Let us advance forward. We're still having some cohesion issues, mostly because we have 2 coaches that struggle with normal. And we don't have anyone that works well with people at a certain level. But I think we'll get there. I just think we need a little bit of time. Oh, Buckley is excellent at base running. And there we go. I'm going to have you teach infielders just because you're legendary at it. And I'm willing to handle a somewhat dysfunctional coaching staff if the end product is quality players. Because I like Rip. I think Rip's a good pitching coach. So we'll just see what happens there. Okay. Hodford and Hank Severeid and Carl Weilman. Nice. 3 Gold Glovers. You love to see it. Nice. Joe Sewell has actually turned out to be an excellent player. Good for them. And we're just going to go right the way down to MVP, and we're going to see who gets selected. Severeid, Bottomley, Goslin all won themselves. That, I got another Manager of the Year trophy. And Jim Bottomley won the MVP, which is fantastic news. And I think very highly deserved. Congratulations, Mr. Bottomley. You earned it. And winter meetings start. I will offer you an extension. Because I actually quite like you, and I don't want to lose you. Although you are the guy that hates working with normal people, so maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I'm happy to keep him around. Okay, winter meetings have started. I don't really want I mean, I don't think I have anything worth trading to get me the last couple pieces that I need. Let's try an experiment. And I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try it anyway. Oh, I just acquired him. That makes sense. And I'm looking specifically for shortstops. Howie Shanks? God, no. I mean, Jack Barry handles the glove issue, and he does draw walks. I don't know that he's the right fit for us, though. Maybe I should wait till after the draft and then talk to some other people. I think we'll do that. Yes, Luther Bonin, I am 100% with you that it would be the dumbest idea in human history to trade for any of those jokers. Okay, I'll vote for Wahoo Sam. I don't know how he didn't get voted for last time. I think he deserved to be on the first ballot, but as long as that gets fixed eventually, no one really cares. I want to make sure I get the big guys on my ballot, and then I'll come back. I'm going to keep voting for Fielder Jones and Addie Joss, even though I have a feeling that both of their candidacies are already doomed. Ed McFarland, yes. Kip Selbach, yes. Jimmy Sheckard, yes. And I'll even vote for good old Hooks here. Hooksy, as he liked to be called. It's kind of a mediocre first-year class, isn't it? Bro, you hit 230. I'm not voting for you just based on the bump you get from being a shortstop. Not good enough for long enough. I love your nickname. How did you play for this long and only develop that many wins above replacement? Oh, the fact you're actually not that good a hitter. Okay. Just so you know, in my opinion, a World Series trophy is utterly meaningless when it comes to, whatchamajigger. When it comes to the Hall of Fame. I know it's a really big deal for the Football Hall of Fame, and some people say that anyone who wins 2 rings deserves to be in the Hall of Fame if they're a quarterback. Like, I don't want to wait until the Eli Manning debate on a baseball video, but that's the kind of thing that people get really hot and bothered by. I don't have any skin in that game, so I'm not going to talk about it here, but that's the kind of thing people get really upset about. World Series trophies are completely and utterly irrelevant to me in the Hall of Fame. I don't care whether someone won 10 world titles or 0 world titles, unless they're like a manager or a GM, then I think it's critical. But even so, I mean, does anyone not call the Braves a team of the 90s despite the fact they only won 1 World Series during that entire decade? I certainly don't think of them as a failure. And there's plenty of players from that team that are in the Hall of Fame, and deservedly so. Some of the very best players in Major League history played on that team. You can make an argument, if you want to, that Greg Maddux is one of the best post-World War II pitchers. I would certainly put him... Randy Johnson and Roger Clemens definitely are... Let me reverse order. Roger Clemens and Randy Johnson are definitely 1 and 2. Greg Maddux might be 3. That's how damn good he was. Chipper Jones is arguably one of the best third basemen ever played the game of baseball. There's tons of examples from those Braves teams that were phenomenal. And just because it won one World Series, I don't think matters. So I would never vote for anyone for the Baseball Hall of Fame, just based on how many trophies they had. World Series trophies, addendum other than managers or GMs, which actually doesn't exist in this game anyway. If we're going to have a reliever in the Hall of Fame, is Pete Wilson that guy? I don't know, maybe. I'm just going to go ahead and vote with just these 8 guys, and then if other people get in, then they get in. Cool. Alright. So remember, our guy wants ability, so he's going to be very kind to some players and not so kind to other players. Alright. I would be pretty surprised if any of these players fall to me. If I click just these, I just want to see how many there are. Okay, there's 12 players, so at least one of these guys is going to fall to me. No, actually, none of them might. What does the mock draft say I'm going to take? They say I'm going to take Mark Koenig. You're entitled to your opinion. Alright. Did someone else already take him? No, nobody took him. He's just not very good. Okay. Chuck Dresden is a good hitter, but he plays third base. I've got Pie Trainer. I'm not worried about that. Freddy Fitzsimmons offers a starting pitcher with a ton of stamina and a lot of ability. Granted, he's a knuckleballer, so who the hell knows how good he'll actually be, but that's still interesting. I don't need a first baseman. I won't probably need one for a very long time. Tommy Thompson here is a pretty decent hitter, but he's a garbage tier second baseman. Leo DeRocher is mostly fine. Like, he does a lot of shortstop things quite well. Billy Rogel is more of the pure, I'm a good defender. I like Leo DeRocher quite a lot as an all-around shortstop. I am worried about his ability to hit for contact, but he's also 19. If I don't pick DeRocher, would he fall to me in the second round? And I think the answer to that is an emphatic no. I don't see that happening. In fact, if I don't take one of these two, they'll both be gone. Now, you could make the very reasonable argument, and I would not disagree with you, that DeRocher is definitely going to be a good shortstop someday. He's probably not one right now. I would still need to acquire a quality veteran to fill the hole for a couple of seasons. But I was going to do that anyway. And the only other player here that I'm looking at that I definitely would see being as good, if not a better fit, is Freddy Fitzsimmons. Here's why I'm passing up on him. Very important word. This one. Knuckleball. Yes. Freddy, I'm going to keep calling him Fitzsimmons anyway. Freddy Fitzsimmons looks like a pretty darn good pitcher, but because he throws a knuckleball, his development is best described by shrug shoulders. I have no idea how good he'll actually be. If he fell to me in the second round, I would take him without a second's hesitation. But I'm going to take DeRocher. Where did you predict Fitzsimmons going to? You do think Fitzsimmons falls to round 2. I agree with that. But no, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take Leo the Lip. Son of a... I didn't even realize that. My scout's opinion didn't even apply. Ugh. Did I get suckered? Did I make a boo-boo? No, my scout likes him too. He maybe doesn't like his bat as much, but he still thinks his glove is legitimate. So, I don't love it, but whatever. That's entirely my fault. I can't blame anyone but myself. Alright. I have another player that is just an awkward fit for this team. He'd be a decent player off the bench. And it's important to remember that not every player has to be a megastar. Third base is kind of an area of organizational weakness, so maybe he is the answer to my question. Bud Connolly offers me a bit more flexibility, but he's not as good a hitter as Warner. Cy Rosenthal is he's a high floor prospect, which is exactly the kind of prospect that my scout is going to want. He could replace Frank Walker pretty easy. Let me make sure I don't have like a mega contact hitter hiding here. I think Rosenthal is the best pure hitter of those available. Whereas Warner looks a tiny bit better because he happens to play third base. I'm going to take Rosenthal. Oscar, there's not much to recommend you. This is very much a 3-pick draft. I think I'm not going to sign my 3rd-round pick this season. I think instead I'm going to let him walk, and then I'll take someone else with that 3rd-round pick next season. We did end up getting Hugh McMullen. That doesn't, like, thrill me or anything, but I'll take it. And then Roy Hudson is whatever. So, oddly, I actually have a day 1 starter on this, and it's not the player I thought he was. And yes, he's not really a starter, but I can definitely see bringing him in off the bench. Alright, I'm going to package Sutherland and Fisher. Really, I can't pick shop if I do that? Whatever. Oh, here we go. Give me prospects. Oh, is he not considered a prospect anymore? Yikes. Go ahead and offer add Brennan. Offer Eparixi. Okay, no one really wants Eparixi. That's totally fair. I'll be honest with you, friends. I think we take Jack Barry. He's an imperfect solution to the problem, but he's at least an attempt at a solution. And his glove has been pretty consistent. So I think we go ahead and take Jack Barry and see how that works out for us. This is just us needing the right player on the roster to maybe get us closer to respectability. I'm going to trade Zeb Terry for the best prospect I can get my hands on, regardless of position. Good old Bernie Henderson. All right. So, Rule 5. I have plenty of spaces on the 40-man. I'm not going to give away Sutherland for nothing. I don't really care about most of the rest of these guys, though. If I set you to starter, what is your... You do drop a fair bit if I set you to starter. But starting's all you've done in the minors, and you've done incredibly well at it. You've at least earned a spot on the roster, in my opinion. I mean, you're farther along than Earl Whitehill, that's for sure. Oh, it's Rule 5 time. What do we got? What do we got? A guy like Joe Connolly, maybe. Like, all he's done is hit in the minor leagues. And it's like my bench is so deep I can't afford to add a player like him. Let's go ahead and add Joe Connolly. Assuming he's still around when I pick. He is drafted. Anybody else here that's worth grabbing? I don't think so. Yeah, Connolly is leagues better than Frank Walker, who I'm going to trade, again, for the best prospect I can manage. And nobody wants him. That's totally fair, actually. I don't want him either. And what this basically does is basically lets me let Cy Rosenthal spend a bit of time improving. Yeah, I think we kind of reinvent Eparixi as a reliever now. Or a long starter at the back of the pen. Alright, friendos. You're not getting Hub Pruitt. You're just not. Not right now, anyway. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If DeRocher has a great spring training and can capitalize on his abilities, I'll be over the moon. How do that few people want to vote in Earl more? I mean, I know he wasn't like an amazing starting pitcher, but he was pretty darn good. I think he's certainly closer to Hallworthy. But I don't think I voted for him either, so... The important thing is that Kip Selbach got in of the Pittsburgh Pirates, so that makes me happy. I always like to see the players that I developed succeed. Did I draft Kip Selbach, or did I trade for him? No, that was way before I took them. 1893? I wasn't the manager of the Pirates yet. No, I don't get full credit for him, but I get most of the credit. I get 88.8% of the credit. That's the official number. I didn't fail to sign him. I just didn't want him. I'd rather have another pick next year. Okay. We've already kind of taken a huge dump on DeRocher. I'm really hoping... Nope, I did it again, game. I did it again. Batting ratings. Scouting. My scout. There you go. DeRocher still doesn't look amazing, but whatever. I'm going to let Hub Pruitt pitch in spring training. I'll do the same with Sweetbread Bailey. And then we're just going to let DeRocher develop a bit before we worry about anyone else. Pitching... Everybody. Hello, everybody. Hi, Dr. Nick. I mean, I guess you can't really mess with success, and this was a pretty successful team. I'm going to be honest with you. If you really insist on playing Levon every other day during the regular season, I will trade him out of spite. I was saying it's what I want to do, but it's what I will do. Kent Greenfield is throwing a little bit harder. That's always good news. Critical note, I would like Mr. DeRocher added to my Tell Me Everything list. Ah, yes, good old Dolph Lundgren, who I renamed last season because I couldn't remember his name. Well, you're just a bundle of fun, aren't you, Eparixi? Eparixi had a pretty great career, but it looks like he's just going to get it cut short. In addition to Cleveland's moronic decision that he couldn't be a starting pitcher, which is just utterly absurd and probably killed most of his value. I don't know how you look at this skill set and decide this man needs to be a reliever, but it's pretty dumb. It's a shame, too, because in the real-life Apparixi is a Hall of Famer. And this one is just because Cleveland randomly decided I want him to relieve. Like, come on, bro. You gotta use your assets. We're not gonna have Whitney here to start the season. That's not great, but it's acceptable. Perfect. Alright, I got me 31 players. I gotta get rid of the scrubs. Goodbye, Schellenbach. Eddie Rommel's definitely a starter, and I think he's probably going to take the job that What's-His-Face had. I have 14 pitchers. I don't need 14. Minors. 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 That gives me 11 players. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Mr. Cooney here just has more upside. Like, he was phenomenal in his first season. I'm willing to let him have that job again. The rest of this is fine. I'm not really going to mess with it. Alright, I still need to get rid of 2 position players. Frank Walker, you gone. And Billy Gleason. I'm actually going to waive you, and if someone else claims you, they just claim you, but I don't really see much of a point in keeping either one of you. The rest of you, congratulations, you've made the team. I'm very proud of all of you. I'm just going to say, give me this stuff. And I'm happy with all of this. I'm not going to change anything. It looks great. Let's go through the season, friends. Let us do our things. A lot of people had the spring training cool off a bit. That's normal. I'm not too bothered by that. Oh, the really weird Hub Ford is the best pitcher in the majors disappeared. I'm not going to argue with number 1, though. Like, damn, son, Jimmy Fox is a pretty darn good get. I think we deserve a ton of credit for keeping a top half minor league system despite our extended success. Let's get her done. What a shock, you all cleared waivers. We can have Epirixi back. I don't think we want him, though. Anyone want to take a gamble that he's no longer trash? Yeah, Epirixi, I hate to do this to you. I'm going to go ahead and designate you for assignment. And if someone claims you, someone claims you. And I can't really do anything about that, but... Okay, Leo DeRocher is already improving. That is good news. Good news, everyone. I'm a horse's butt. I am? Well, that's not good news at all. Alright, delightful. I need to get rid of a pitcher. Oh, Johnny Cooney doesn't have garbage when it comes... Yeah. You're back to reliever, my dude. So I'm going to send down Mr. Schwartz. Glasner comes back. Glasner's now a starter. And you're going to be middle reliever, long reliever. Yeah, Vic Sayer was... I spent so much capital trying to make him a thing, and then he just never worked out. Imagine not having an MVP first baseman, LOL. And then Rick Seager going to the minors. Fine, you don't want to be demoted? Then you can leave. What an ignominious end for his career in Boston. He goes from waiver claim to megastar to just cut. One and 2 week injury isn't really enough to bother with that. Archdeacon got a 40 game on base streak. Quite nice. Improvements all around. Good news, everyone. Remember, the July 10th date is when we have to make any changes that we're going to make to the team. No. I'm not denying that Lee Meadows isn't, like, a reasonably competent starting pitcher. I've got the best rotation in the major leagues. What on this team makes you think that I
Goblin
need...
Fairy Mushroom Fairy said pasta.
Another person like that. I don't know what that was. Sorry. I clicked a button by accident, and then things happened. Just 1 second. Okay. I was making sure I was actually still recording. That was funny. Yeah, no. Nothing on earth would make me want Lee Meadows at this moment.
Bramble said, yo, what up?
What is going on? I'm gonna pause my recording and figure out what's
Darth
going
Zachary said, I'm not an L.
Hey friends, that sure was weird. What had happened was my Discord server that I use for some of my friends had randomly turned on text-to-speech. There's something about recording that OBS is passing things to Discord. I don't know what's going on. It's been disabled. So, sorry about that. Right. It is. We are really close, friends. We just need a bit more luck. Like, I mean, Jack Barry is already almost everything we wanted in a shortstop, which is kind of pathetic, but given how bad it's been the last couple of seasons, I'm not unhappy. Hod Ford is quickly proving to be a bit of a disappointment. Yeah, we really just need a bit more luck in terms of hitting, and especially Pie Trainer. If he can start hitting a bit more in the second half, I think that's enough. I think that probably gets us another pennant. Possibly. Possibly. Or you could just take one of my better starters and cripple him. That's great. That's what I want in my life. You really like Kent Greenfield as a starter? I mean, I guess I see it. He's got 2 pretty decent pitches. Got good movement. He's a sidearmer, which means he's not maybe ideal as a starting pitcher, but... I mean, who else am I going to call up, though? Like, Hub is quite clearly injured. Game. There you go. I could try Kent Greenfield, but what we probably need is we probably just need to acquire another starter. Without giving up a lot. And I don't know the solution to that particular problem. How can I acquire a good starter to fill in for Dave Davenport without crippling my fairly mediocre farm system? Frank Allen would look mighty fine pitching for us. What would I have to give up for you? I'm not giving you any of these players. I'll offer you Ernie Wingard. You still want a pretty decent player in addition? George McNamara. I'm going to submit the offer, and then we're going to see if they take it. Wingard is not a bad player at all. But I have Jim Bottomley, so I'm not going to worry about that. Done. There we go. We have a very lefty-heavy rotation, which was not my intention, but I like it. I think it's worked out for us pretty well. Who made it from the Braves? Davenport and Walter Johnson and Carl Vileman and Hank Severeid. Jim Bottomley didn't make it. I am insulted. But Goose Goslin and Maurice Archdeacon both made it. DeRocher's now the number 6 prospect in the major leagues. So that turned out pretty good. I just need to see this contact. I need to see it like in the 30s or 40s, and then he'll get called up. Sox, Nemo labeled. Okay. Alright, game. This needs to stop happening, please. Please quit injuring my pitchers. I'm not going to bother with Erskine Mayer. I'd rather honestly call up Kent Greenfield and give him a shot in the majors. Or hell, even let Cooney come back and be a starter. But no, I think I'm going to use Greenfield. Or Rommel. Yeah, Rommel would actually be the better choice. And then that way Greenfield can be my new emergency starter along reliever. And just let him develop a bit more. Not cool, game. Not cool. Walter Johnson losing velocity. Great. Bottomley slipped a tiny bit. Leo DeRocher's contact is improving. He's becoming a better overall player. I'm still not going to rush him, but he's looking like the solution that we did need. Hey, Jack Barry got his 2000th hit. How utterly delightful. If I want to acquire any other players for the stretch run, I've got to do it now. But I'll be honest, I don't know what that player looks like. Other than a better second baseman. Because Hodford is trash. Does that player exist? All batters. Frank Parkinson sure as shit looks like that player to me. I would have grabbed Jim Viox in a heartbeat with his bat, but I will... What are you going to cost me? Dolph Lundgren and let's say Doc Wood. I really don't want to give up any particular major league player for this. I could offer you, out of the kindness of my heart, I could offer you Doc Lavon. None of these are moving the needle, which is my issue. None of these are moving the needle. They do it for Hod Ford. I'd rather just keep giving you players I don't care about, though. Like relief prospects. If I offered you Pruitt or Greenfield, you'd do it in a heartbeat. And the thing is, I just don't want to give up either of those players because it might actually be sort of useful. How about good old Sudsy? How about Monty Schwartz? No? I basically have to put together a pretty devastating package if I want this to happen. If I trade you Hub, I will regret it. You know what? You were interested in Hob Ford, right? Who's my current starting second baseman. What if I gave you Hod? Okay, now they're ready to take garbage. So yes, you can have Jim Mahadi. Pull the trigger. I gave away Levon, didn't I? I did not mean to give away both players. I wanted either Levon or Ford, not both. Poop. I guess Kanode's not the worst choice, but he's certainly not the best choice. I basically killed my bench in exchange for an upgrade there. Can I get a better bench player now? All infielders. Here we go. Pittsburgh, give me Ernie Johnson. Done. And then this way I can have Ernie Johnson on the roster to be our backup. There we go. I like it. And we still have, like, a genuinely high-quality second baseman who might even be able to hit a little bit for us down the stretch. All right. No, I'm not giving you Greenfield for a worse version of Greenfield. Excuse me. That's just silly. That's freaking ridiculous. Quit injuring my damn starters. All right, let's go. Greenfield, you're starting. Pruitt, long relief emergency starting. I didn't even know who Doug Smith was until right now. Yeah, this is a big issue if we're going to keep getting starters injured. Because I know one of the things that makes us such a good team is our rotation. Now, maybe this is just a low-key way for more starters to get rest, which would be pretty funny. But, yeah. I am not enthusiastic about our chances at the moment. Ooh, Cy Rosenthal's actually a very good hitter now. I'm definitely going to probably put him on the Major League roster next season. This is the worst time for us to have lost one of our top-line starters. So I think we're probably not going to make the playoffs this season. It's still possible, of course, but I just think we don't have enough time left in the season to make the kind of move that we need to make, basically. All right. Pruitt. Back to AAA. Wileman in the rotation. Greenfield. Long relief emergency starter. We have less than a percentage point left. We're basically going to have to beat the Cubs in head-to-head matchups if we're going to have any kind of chance of winning the pennant, and I just don't think we can do it. Yeah. So much for three-peating. I'm not happy, but I'm also not sad. Because we still put together a damn fine season. And the reason we fell short is also pretty painfully clear. And if we look at Pythagorean record, the Cubs, first of all, way fucking overperformed their expectations. And second, we didn't perform up to expectations. We finished 82 and 72. A disappointing season, to be sure, but not a horrible one. Jack Fifield, you can have a raise. So if we look at how things went, we can get a sense of what we did wrong and where we need to improve. Jim Bottomley did it again. He was maybe not as great as he was last season, but he's still very good. Goose Goslin, Maurice Archdeacon, Hank Severeid, all perfectly fine. Bert Griffin was decent. Probably Pie Traynor is the biggest disappointment among our starters. He was an above-average offensive player until this season. And I'm hoping, and maybe I'm even somewhat confident he can turn that around next season, but that's a big issue. Parkinson turned out okay. Jack Barry was awful. That's a win right there. And then our normally excellent starting rotation was still very good, but also just kept getting injured. Like, at the beginning of this season, I did not anticipate... we didn't even have Frank Allen. I didn't expect Earl Whitehill to make 20 plus starts. I expected, I guess, that much from Eddie Rommel. We just weren't as good as we have been in the past. And that's just going to keep being an issue. Maybe I should have taken Freddy Fitzsimmons instead of taking DeRocher. Like, the good news is DeRocher, opening day shortstop next season. That's a layup. That's not a hard decision to make. Jack Connolly clearly needs some more work in the minors, but I'm willing to let him do that in the minors. Cy Rosenthal is definitely a worthwhile player to have on the bench. Or maybe even play right field. I mean, he's a better hitter. No, he's not a better hitter than Burt Griffith. Never mind. But we still have a lot of talent on this team. Unfortunately, it's very old talent. And that is going to be our single biggest issue going forward. And we even sold a decent bit of the farm system to even have a chance this season. It is what it is. I mean, I'm not sad that we failed. And yeah, look a freaking Brooklyn. They had 2 guys hit close to 400. How am I meant to compete with that? I don't think you can. I don't think you can. But we could probably use more power still. I think that's one of our biggest obstacles, and that we have 2 double-digit home run hitters, and then no one else hits home runs with regularity. Although we did have Frank Parkinson, and I do think that he helped out a bit with that particular problem. But that's going to conclude this particular episode. Let's see who wins the World Series. It is the St. Louis Browns. Wait, what? Oh, I accidentally let my pitching coach go. Oh, well. I wasn't sure I wanted to do that. And we just lost my team trainer. Yeah, you better freaking retire, you jerk. I'm going to injure half your pitching staff. Alright. Trainer ratings. I need somebody who's outstanding with arm injuries. And that's going to be the issue, right? Like, I can have someone who's great at preventing arm injuries or someone who's good at healing them, but I can't really have both. Ron Hendricks is the closest to doing both. Ryan Rudd is probably the best overall choice, but I do think we go with Ron Hendricks. Let's do it. And then I do need a new pitching coach. Assistant GM, what is your wisdom? You like John Fitzgerald. I can't say he'd be a terrible choice. Good at development, excellent with mechanics, excellent with aging. And let me be honest, I think that's the most important. I think that was an incredibly sensible choice here. and it should hopefully help with some other issues. So that's going to conclude this episode. Could it have gone better? Yes. But was it as bad as it could have been? No. And the good news is it looks like both Glasner and Davenport should come back and have good seasons. Our other big issue is going to be Walter Johnson, though. He's starting to lose a bit of the heat off his fastball. As long as he's striking fools out, I don't really care. But, I mean, this Walter Johnson definitely seems like he's a Hall of Famer. Just like the real one. He should get 3,000 strikeouts next season. That'll be an exciting milestone. He might be the first pitcher in history to get 3,000 or close to it. No. Toad Ramsey had 4,200. But I mean, Walter Johnson's going to hit 3,000 next season, as will Harry Krause. He's still the top one in the top 10 in strikeouts. Good old Mike Smith. Has anyone else even won 400 games? Yeah, a handful of people. Drafted by me. Drafted by me. Oh, damn, look at how good Rube Marquard has been. Nice. Alright. But that is where we are right now. I genuinely think we have a chance to go back to the playoffs next season. All it's going to take is these two starters recovering and maybe a better year from Pie Traynor, and then Leo DeRocher playing shortstop for the full season, as well as Frank Parkinson getting a full season to ply his craft as a second baseman. I think all of those things combined probably gets us to another pennant, but our window is starting to close. Our window is starting to close, and that is somewhat concerning to me. We're just going to see what happens next time. But until next time, my dear friends, this has been Avindian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good